G'day there guys, it's your main man Markee, back at it again with another episode of r/Am I the A-hole. Now if you love this content like I love you, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn on the barbie, and get ready for some bloody good content. Posted by user Trouble in Gluten, titled, Am I the A-hole for going no contact with my parents after learning they had lied to me about my allergies all my life? Hey everyone, I'm 19 years old and my parents are in their 50s. For as long as I can remember, I have been allergic to several things: dairy, wheat/flour, gluten, legumes. Okay, so since I was a young child, my parents have completely kept all of them out of our house. While other kids ate breakfast cereals, I ate fish and assorted pickled vegetables for breakfast. While other kids had Lunchables, I had grilled chicken or fish with, again, assorted vegetables, usually sweet potatoes. While other kids ate birthday cake at the birthday party, I had an apple. I never questioned this until a couple of months ago. I was at my aunt's house for my birthday party, and she made brownies for everyone. For me, she took great steps to make them with almond flour and avoided all of my allergies. I started eating them and thought little of it until my aunt suddenly looked at me and, in a panicked way, asked which plate I took the brownies from. I pointed from the one where I got my brownies, and she immediately stood up and told me we had to get my EpiPen. She raced to ask my mother for it, and I sat there scared out of my mind because I had never mistakenly eaten flour before. I noticed my mother had calmed her down, and then she said that we don't have to worry because she had switched the plate of brownies, and after all, I'd eaten the ones made with almond flour. I found this incredibly odd because really, why would she swap the plates? That doesn't even make any sense, but for the time being, I let the issue rest. It didn't sit well with me for about a week, and I finally went to get an allergy test. The doctor started with a skin prick test, and lo and behold, I didn't react to any of the above substances. Then he ordered a blood test, and when the results came in, they said that I had absolutely no intolerance to any of the foods that I'm supposed to be allergic to. I was furious and called my mother. She eventually admitted that she lied to me because she wanted me to be on a Paleolithic diet and wanted me to be able to avoid all temptations. She raised me with a lie about her own health, but she keeps insisting that I try to see it from her perspective. She spams my phone with messages about how healthy I am, that I never had acne, that I'd been in great shape my whole life, that I have strong teeth and bones, and even that I got into a D1 college tennis team. She has started calling me ungrateful for her intervention and insisting that I really should be glad I never got carb addicted. I don't know what to think. I carried around an EpiPen for all those years, one that I suspected may be fake, seeing as my mother never got me to replace it, and I don't even know anymore. Am I the a-hole and an ungrateful son for losing it over this? No, you're not the a-hole at all. She's an a-hole for stringing you along, OP. My god, that's like cult-like abuse of someone's trust and perspective of reality. You warp into another dimension when a lie like that gets unearthed. Absolutely screw your mum. I can see where she's coming from, but that's no excuse. That's so despicable. Why would you do that to your own kid? That's so disgusting. You're not the a-hole, OP. I would consider my options from this point forward. Not the a-hole. You spent your entire life thinking that you could die easily because your mum wanted you on a special diet? Allergies are incredibly serious, and while you can grow out of them, to be lied to is unnecessary. What your mum did was manipulative and poor parenting. She easily could have had you on a diet like that without lying and making you fear for your life. That's what I was thinking. I was a good, respectful kid. I followed her directions. Why did it take a lie to get me to eat the way that I thought I should? I'll probably keep eating this way for the most part anyway, but knowing a strawberry milkshake won't kill me is a huge relief. Not the a-hole, but if you don't get out there and have a Taco Bell Nachos Bel Grande immediately, then you're the a-hole. Don't listen to him. Go to an actual Mexican restaurant and get some quality nachos. Agreed. Get a croissant and some Domino's pizza or cheesy bread and baklava and spanakopita and a real burrito. Taco Bell chalupas are awesome, and real burgers with real buns and onion rings or mozzarella sticks, or just find a hole-in-the-wall random restaurant and order whatever the heck you want. Sauce. These are the things I crave after 10 plus years of being non-celiac gluten intolerant. Heavy emphasis on the find a random place that looks yummy and order whatever you want on the menu. And enjoy on my behalf. You earned it. Not the a-hole. Also, tell your aunt about your mum's lie. She should know that your mum made her put in extra effort for who knows how many times and caused her to go into a panic about you potentially having an allergic reaction, when in reality, your mum had lied about your allergies. I feel bad your aunt went through that. What your mum did was so terrible. She needs to face the consequences of her actions. Cut contact until she understands just how bad her actions were. Yes, it was awful, not the a-hole. Opie, by the way, you were very, very smart to check with your doctor after that brownie incident. It's the kind of thing I might not have thought to do, but it's great that you did. Posted by user Daughter Compensation, titled, Am I the a-hole for expecting my daughter to compensate me properly? It's my husband's birthday tomorrow, and he's asked for a gazebo to replace the old ugly one in our yard. At first, I was really against it because gazebos are hundreds of dollars, and normally I just get him things that are $20 or less for his birthday. So his request took me by surprise for sure. But my daughter said she would pay for half of the gazebo, so I reluctantly agreed to it. She and my husband also agreed to build the gazebo themselves to reduce costs because there wouldn't be an installation fee and such. So I bought the gazebo with my own money and told my daughter to Venmo me half. But I checked my venue, and my daughter sent me far less than half. I asked her why, and she said she paid $200 to get the old gazebo removed last week, and so that should also count as part of the cost of the gift. I told her that's not how it works, and reminded her that she promised me she would pay half of the gazebo's cost. She got huffy and said since the gazebo itself cost about $500 total, if she paid $250 for it plus $200 for the removal, then she is paying for much more than I am. I told her that the removal doesn't count, and it's tough luck, but she should have thought about the costs before she agreed to do this. Now she's acting like I'm the bad guy and saying I'm going to ruin my husband's birthday. Am I the a-hole? I'm gonna say we don't really know the daughter's age in this one, so even so, you're the a-hole OP for doing that. That was not agreed on in the first place. You decided after the fact that, this cost should be on her because she's going to do it. You know what? I'm just going to contribute financially. I'm not going to put my life and body on the line. She can do all that. No, OP, you suck. You're the a-hole. You're the a-hole. Your daughter paid her fair share. Removing the old gazebo is an obvious part of getting a new one and something you should have considered in the cost as well, not something else to shove on top of your daughter. You clearly don't buy nice things for your husband a lot anyways, and the one time you do, you're choosing to be cheap and ask your daughter to pay for it? Plus, she's going to be enjoying the gift as well. It's not like it's just for her husband. I disagree. Forever, the gazebo will remind her of her own cheap daughter that only paid $50 towards the cost of it. You're the a-hole. Her cheap daughter who paid and helped her dad build the gazebo. What a monster. You're the a-hole. Your daughter does something nice by offering to pay for half and puts in the work to demolish the old one, and you want to rip her off. Also, the daughter doesn't even live in the house that will be getting the gazebo. While it is a gift for the OP's husband and she will be benefiting and enjoying it, whereas the daughter won't be. OP is literally just being cheap. She's literally trying to make her daughter pay more than half, but still wants to claim it as her gift to her husband. I doubt that her daughter will be offering to pay for things in the future. You're the a-hole. Over a birthday gift? Damn. Add the cost of the removal and the gazebo together, then divide by half. You really think the gazebo is going to install itself over the old one? Posted by user Do Donuts Care, titled, Am I the a-hole for calling my wife selfish for wanting to get an abortion? So, me, Canadian male 36, and my wife, Lebanese female 34, have been married for 3 years. We met when she was in college and got married a few months after. She's a very independent woman and believes in hard work. She's a doctor, I'm an engineer. I work in a completely different field. I know nothing about doctors and their work environments other than the basic stuff, and I've noticed that she's somehow used her job as an excuse to avoid being involved in family activities like dinner, heart-to-heart conversations, etc. She'd say, "I'm busy, I'm exhausted, I just got back from work, I'm not ready to talk about this or that." I tried my best to be patient and understand she must be stressed out from work, but it got to a point where it has gotten ridiculously annoying for her to just focus on her job and ignore her family. Last week, she told me she was pregnant, and that I was going to be a dad for the first time ever in my life. I was excited and happy. I honestly thought that we would never have kids, because we'd been trying for a long time, but she proceeded to tell me that it was not a good time, and that she wanted to get an abortion. I was stunned. This is our first baby together after waiting for the 2 whole years, and you want an abortion? Why? She started telling me that she wasn't ready or sure about the baby, given our current situation. She brought up our recent arguments and used them as an excuse, because I know it wasn't because of that. She was afraid and nervous but didn't want to show. I told her having the baby is going to make our lives sweet and will strengthen our relationship. Very bold statement, that one. She still wasn't sure. She told me, please try to understand my situation. I stopped her right there. Told her she was being unreasonable and selfish to think she can get an abortion after waiting so long for it to happen. She replied to me saying, "If this is about your mum, I don't have to please her. I'm not a baby machine. I'm human." She probably said this because my mum used to ask her, "Where's my grandchild?" all the time, but that's another story. I feel like we'd probably get some good context if we knew that story. It escalated when she brought mum up and said she wanted time. Then the next day, got up and went to work early without even talking, acting like nothing happened. I don't get it. I've always wanted to be a dad, but she straight up said she's willing to abort my child that I've waited an eternity for. And the abortion question is one that I really don't want to give too much of an opinion on ever. I think we don't know enough about this situation. We've got this one specific time in their life, and I don't know what these people are like or their morals are, so I'm not going to put an opinion on this one. It is not my place to. You're the a-hole. She's not an incubator. If she doesn't want to have a baby with you, she doesn't have to, and you can't force her to. Having an unwanted baby does not strengthen or sweeten a relationship, it builds resentment and delays the inevitable. Yes, the whole have a baby to strengthen our relationship is a myth. It's all about communicating with your partner. I can't believe he tried to make her look like an a-hole for wanting to improve the relationship before popping out a child. Possibly he hopes having a baby will make her step back from work, thereby strengthening their relationship because she's forced to be family-oriented. I think this is spot on, given the way he talks about his wife, but particularly, it sounds like he's hoping it'll cause her to pay more attention to him, especially telling that he said it's ridiculously annoying for her to just focus on her job and ignore her family, when he's clearly not talking about extended family and they don't have any children. What family? Him. He feels like she's too focused or distracted by her job to give him the attention or emotional support that he wants, which on some level is a valid issue in a relationship. But from the rest of this post, it sounds less like that's a genuine problem, and more like he has a problem with her having a career like this, and feels like it's taking away from what he thinks she should be giving him, which is children and possibly a more traditional family, hence this coming to a head over this pregnancy. I told her having a baby is going to make our lives sweet and will strengthen our relationship. That is not how it works. A baby will make your life harder, more stressful. They're expensive. They keep you up at night screaming. They make messes and break things. They get sick and have issues. They definitely don't make marriage any easier. They add pressure and strain to your relationship, often create resentment. If you have this mindset towards having a baby, you aren't ready. Neither is she. So your marriage isn't ready for a baby, you're the a-hole. True, they're not ready, but she's clever enough to say it. It takes some courage to do so. OP, you're the a-hole. It really sounds like he and his mum pressured her into agreeing to try for a baby, and then when she got pregnant, that was the moment of truth when she realized that she really didn't want one. That was what other people wanted. Honestly, I feel bad for her, because her opinion isn't really being taken into consideration. Posted by user, Goodbye My Boy, titled, Am I the a-hole for giving guardianship of my son to my aunt over my mother after I die of my terminal cancer? I, 21 male, have a son who just turned 1. His mum, who was my girlfriend, died in labor along with the other baby she was carrying. I was diagnosed with terminal cancer 3 months ago, and I don't have very long left. 2 months at most. I have accepted that I'm going to die, but now I have to think about what's best for my son. I have decided who my boy would go to, and I thought that my mother, 55, naturally. But then I start to think of her situation as my older, 29, lives with her along with his 5 kids, all aged under 5. And I decided not to, as my mum works, and my brother, to be honest, isn't really raising his kids, more dragging them up and can be neglectful. I wasn't going to put my son in that environment, as I want someone to actually care for him. So I then thought of my aunt, 33, on my dad's side. She's a good mother, and her husband a good father to their 3 girls, and I know they could provide for my son. I asked them, and they agreed. My mother, however, found out that I wasn't leaving my son with her, and she got angry at me, that she's losing me and now losing her grandson. I gave her my reasons, and that she realistically can't raise him while she's basically raising a man-child and his kids. It all ended in an even bigger argument, and now I'm cooling off at home. I understand that things are terrible for her right now, as I won't be here soon, but my aunt is a much better choice. It's not like my son won't know who she is, as the walk between hers and my aunt's is only 5 minutes. Am I the a-hole? I'd say no, OP's not the a-hole. It's their dying wish they should get to choose where their child goes. And that's not the environment for a child to be raised in with a man that's not raising his own 5 kids. The mother sounds like she's living in an idealist world, and this is a response to the trauma of losing so many people so close to her. And while I can empathize with the mother, we do have to do what's best for the kid, even if that is not being with that particular family, even though they're only 5 minutes down the road. I want to first offer my condolences over this entire situation. You are a bright and kind young person, and I'm so sorry this is happening. Short answer, no, not the a-hole. You have to think of your child, as hard and as horrible as this all is. I'm unfamiliar with how child custody works once both parents have passed away, but what might offer a decent solution is, if you're able to specify that legally, your mother might be able to spend time with him. This is a very delicate situation, and despite it all, I must say I believe you are handling it very well. I'm sending so much love and light your way. Not the a-hole. You're taking a final responsibility to ensure that your child has the best chance for success. Don't feel bad about it, and don't let your mother talk you out of it. You're a good dad, and I'm sure your child will grow up knowing and appreciating that. Piggybacking to say that you should draw up a will to transfer full guardianship to your aunt. There are states where the court can decide that the child should go to the grandparents, even if that's not what you want. If you think it's something your mother will make a fuss over, or try to make it trouble for your aunt, you definitely need to talk to a lawyer. On top of that, take the time to write some letters for his major milestones. First date, turning 10, turning 16, 18 and 21, getting married, graduating high school and college, etc. It'll mean the world to him as he grows up. Oh, and maybe include bits about what his mother was like as well, and maybe leave something sentimental to him to have when he turns 18 from both you and your girlfriend. If you have anything, honestly, even print out some pictures would be good too, like a watch, a baseball cap, childhood stuffed animal, or just anything that holds meaning to you. That would honestly be so special and would definitely at least let him know that he was so loved by you. Piggybacking to say, leave more than one thing. Nothing more heartbreaking than to have one item, let's say a watch, that's incredibly important, then have it lost, stolen, or a friend pushes you into the pool with it on and it's gone forever. Also, the comment below making him emails, set up 2 accounts, in case of an adolescent anger fit or someone else deleting them or lost password or tech issue or whatever. 1 copy for him, 1 backup copy that someone else has the password to and can resend them if needed. The things and notes you leave will be meaningful. Your child will have good moments and bad, and he'll miss you and be angry you were taken. Try to minimize the damage he can do to himself while he's learning how to manage his deep feelings. Posted by user Yusuf Deharam, titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend her chronic illnesses are her own fault? So my girlfriend, 20 female, and I, 36 male, have been living together for about 6 months now. She has quite a lot of mental and physical health conditions. She has chronic migraines, hypermobile joints that are causing severe pain, her wrists, chronic kidney disease, and pernicious anemia, as well as depression. She's been struggling a lot over the past few weeks. A lot of headaches and pain in her wrists. But to me, she's doing absolutely nothing to help herself. She eats absolute junk, and when she's feeling okay, she does absolutely no exercise or anything that could help her depression or her headaches. She's so depressed she hasn't even showered for maybe 2 weeks. The other night I tried initiating a conversation on getting her back to feeling okay, and she got really ticked at me, telling her I just don't understand how she feels. I appreciate that I don't, but I replied telling her she absolutely has done nothing to help herself, so it's her own fault. She feels like crap all the time. We ended in a massive argument, and she's been cooped up in the spare room ever since. Am I the a-hole? Unfortunately, OP, you are the a-hole. You obviously cannot put yourself in her shoes, and I know you want to do the best for her and you want her to make herself better, but you're not a doctor at the same time. You don't know how to help her entirely. You don't know what you're doing. You're kind of just giving your opinion, forcing it on her, and not apologizing when she reacts badly to you, and she reacts in a justified way. Not changing your tune and being accommodating to her makes you the a-hole. You're the a-hole. 1. Why are you with someone that's just over half your age? 2. Side effects of chronic illnesses are depression. Instead of crapping on her for being depressed, you should try to support her and help her feel better. It's even more than that if you look at time being an adult. She's been an adult for 2 years and he's been one for 18 years. Age gaps aren't inherently arseholish though. OP, you're the a-hole because you're shaming her for being depressed. It's hard to care for yourself when you're depressed. Offer help instead of shame. Okay, so I have chronic migraines like OP's girlfriend. My dad always feels like he can tell me, well, if you just ate better, you might not get them. Or, well, if you just fixed your sleep schedule, they might go away. And then he gets mad at me when I tell him I know what my actual triggers are, and the problem isn't as solvable as he thinks it is. He continues to scream at me and act like it's my fault I have a chronic disease. And that also causes depression. I hate people who act like they know more about your chronic disease than you do, OP. You're an a-hole. And there are healthy foods that trigger migraines. My husband's are triggered by avocados, which sucks for him because he loves guacamole. You're the a-hole big time. 1. Why are you 36 dating a 20-year-old? That already sets off so many separate flags. 2. Depression is almost always a side effect of chronic illnesses. 3. You think that at 20 years old she hasn't tried everything that would help with her chronic illnesses? You think you know her illnesses better than the person who's lived with them for, I'm guessing, at least a good chunk of her life? It's a good question. Posted by user BritAnn2, titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my sister that her husband was bullcrapping her? This is a wild situation. To give some backgrounds, I, 32 female, have a sister, Leia, 26 female. She's been married to Jake for 5 years, and they have 2 kids. We all grew up very Christian. I ended up leaving the church, but my sister and brother-in-law are still on fire Christians. Anyway, Leia has mentioned things to me that seem very sketchy. I think Jake is cheating, but she won't accept the thought. He leaves their bed at night and doesn't come back till after work the next day. He hides money, and he's trying not to conceive another kid with my sister. I've gently tried to give her a reality check, but it hasn't worked. Well, on Friday after work, they came over to swim, totally fine in our state. Jake was swimming with the kids, and my sister and I were sitting in the grass, keeping an extra eye on them. Jake had lots of red scratches on his back. To me, they looked like fingernails. I made a joke to my sister about their dry spell being over, and she said they still hadn't had sex in a year. I gently told her that they looked like finger marks, and that it was pretty sketchy as hell. She said casually that Jake had gone on a prayer walk with his men's group and had been spiritually attacked by a demon. Now, we grew up with these kinds of beliefs, but I told her that was crazy and just an excuse. She got really flustered and pulled her kids out of the pool. She told Jake she had a headache, and they left. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister my concerns? Should I have stayed out of her business? Edit. I got overwhelmed trying to respond to comments, but thanks a ton to everyone who commented. To the people asking whether my in-laws are really named Jake and Leah, no, it comes from a Bible story, and I thought I'd be clever with the aliases. To the people asking why I haven't intervened before in my sister's relationship, I've tried to gently bring it up, but I was worried about hurting her or being wrong. My partner and I are currently stuck in my home state due to COVID, but I actually have a job in another country that I'll be returning to once the pandemic ends. I haven't been around my sister too much in the past year, but I did try to call her a few times a week before I moved back. Finally, to the people calling my sister stupid, she's not. Please have a little empathy. The idea that your husband might be cheating can be hard to face. I'm gonna say OP is not the a-hole for this one. The sister is in heavy denial. She seems like she's using her religion as a face for it, to kind of come to terms with it, to make excuses for the husband, and I think she doesn't want to accept the reality yet. She's going through the phase, and I hope she does make it to acceptance at the end, and I hope that she leaves that man, because to be going on for such a long time can destroy someone's soul, really, in this context. You just become destroyed, as we've seen through a whole bunch of stories. So OP, not the a-hole, and I hope that your sister gets help. Jimmy Jr. Dance Party says, I mean, not the a-hole for trying to help, but if your sister is so deeply deluded she thinks her husband's sex marks are from a demon, there's no helping her see the light. I would just drop it. Excuse me, are you telling me you don't believe in succubi? Well, I never. How dare you? I will pray for you. Could be an incubus, who knows? My first thoughts, strictly religious, no sex for a year, spends a lot of time with a men's group? Sounds like he's a closet case to me. I feel bad for OP's sister if so, and her husband a little. Not the a-hole. Then in his mind, he might be fighting the demon of homosexuality, which was actually just the finger marks of another dude. We wrestled naked for hours. He won again and again and again, but I refused to submit. We agreed to battle next Tuesday. Not the a-hole, the husband is. But at this point, you've done all you can. Your sister is in denial. Pushing further will just push her away, perhaps even after she comes to terms with it. As someone who's been in severe denial about someone I cared about, I know it's upsetting, OP, but don't push too hard. It will only push her away. Hopefully, she'll figure it out on her own eventually and feel ridiculously foolish, but that's her mistake to make. I had my boyfriend and therapist both gently telling me I was in an abusive relationship for months. I only accepted it when crap hit the fan and he became delusional, blaming me for things he had done, harassing and threatening me. I suppose the only issue is that if your sister believes the scratches were from a demon, she might be delusional herself. I'm so sorry, OP, this is rough. Well, she said she's still a hardcore Christian, so check mark on delusional still. Oh, come on. Stop, man. Not the a-hole, but use caution. You need to be her safe space. Pushing will cause her to shut down, and if she tells her husband that you're doubting his completely freaking absurd story, he could push for her not to talk to you. Excellent advice, and I can just imagine the stories husband will make up to cut OP out of her life. And if sister believes demons dug their Lee press-ons into his back, she'll believe anything he says. Alright guys, that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this one today. Tell me what you thought of it down in the comments below. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I would love you to subscribe because I love your face and I love seeing you here every single day that you are here in this video. I don't know what else to say today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the content. I do have a second channel that's called Markee 2. Link should be up on the screen somewhere here if you don't have adblock installed. If you don't know where to find the channel, you can go to my main page. Just click on the Markee face and it should be on the right somewhere there, or on channels if you're on phone. Hope you guys have a good one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.